Today we're doing an oil change on a 2008 Honda Accord. Right here we have the stuff we need. We have a jack for lifting the car, creeper for going under the car, a drain pan for when the oil comes out, and then jack stands which hold the car up once you take the jack out. Then we have a new oil filter. Definitely recommend doing an oil filter when you change your oil. We have the new oil. This is a filter wrench. Sometimes people use a strap wrench, but this definitely works better if you get the right one for your filter. Gloves, recommend that. Light, so we can actually see, and our wrench. And this is fuel injector cleaner. We like to do it whenever we service the car, just to get everything freshened up. So now that we have the car up, putting the jack stands in, this is important when you're going under a car, because if that jack fails, these are gonna be something between the car and you. Okay. So it goes without saying, but you want to make sure you get the jack stands in the exact same spot as the other side so that the car is held up equally. And then same thing with the jack, you want to make sure it's on a hard metal spot, so we're just going right on the bottom of the subframe. So once we have the jack stands in place, we're just going to let the car down. Once the car is fully off the ground, we're going to get our wrench and our creeper and get under there and check out what size the drain bolt is. I believe this one's a 14, but we're going to see in a second. Okay, so it's not a 14, it's a 17. The first thing when we're under the car is to get the filter wrench and pop this filter loose. These have a tendency to slip no matter what you do. So you just got to constantly readjust the wrench. I'm actually going to have to deal with this later, it's stuck on here. So when you take the filter off, there is going to be a bit of oil dripping, so you just want to try to make as quick work as possible, unlike how I'm doing right now. So when you're putting the new filter on, you want to make sure that the old seal came off of this surface here. The seal is this black part on the top of the filter. And then when you're putting this one on, you want the seal to have a little bit of oil on it. So I'm letting some of this drip onto my finger and then just wiping it around the seal. You can see it has just a little tiny film of oil. And then get it threaded and twist it back on. And then once this is snug, it's important that when you're putting the filter back on, you don't use any tools. You just want to do it by hand as much as you possibly can. So I'll just tighten this down. So we have the new filter on. Now I'm just going to take off the drain plug. And on a car like this, the filter is very much in the way, so using a socket wrench would not work. So a wrench like this, ratcheting is best. And I can just crack this loose, hopefully. You'll see I don't have the drain pan under it right now, and that's okay when you're first getting it loose. You'll just want to put it back under there once it actually starts losing its grip. So I have the drain pan lined up, and then I'm just unbolting this, and you'll see the oil start to come out. The guys who are really good can do it without getting too much oil spilled, and I did pretty good there. Once the oil drain starts to slow down a little bit, we're going to get the bolt back in just a little bit, and then we're going to take advantage of it being out like that and wipe off the area a little bit. And then now that that's done, just snug it up. And then it is absolutely recommended to use a torque wrench when tightening a drain bolt. But I've done it enough times, for me personally, it's no big deal to just get it tight by feel. So now everything's good down here. We'll just one last check, make sure it's all tight, look over everything. Then we're ready to put oil into the engine. So now that everything's tightened down, we're gonna lift the car back up and get those jack stands out so that we can make sure when we put the oil in, we get an accurate reading as the car will be flat. So now that all that's done, we've got the hard part out of the way. And now we're gonna put new oil in the engine, which is easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So first I'm gonna get that oil cap off, and you can see all of them have that little oil jug right there. So on the cap it says 5W20. We like to use 5W30. Probably not majorly important, but that is preference. I'm not gonna add that, I don't know what I'm doing. So this jug is just almost empty, so we're gonna pour all that in there, and then on the next one we'll be more accurate with how much we're adding. So when you're looking for how much oil your car wants at an oil change, it's important to check whether or not it says with the filter. So with a filter change, because it's gotta have enough oil to fill up that filter. With the filter change, this one wants 4.4, so we're gonna do however much it takes to get there from this.
Probably good.
So we have it close to what we think we want. We're just gonna check the dipstick here. And it's important to wipe this off before you check it. I'm gonna wipe it off, put it back in, and then I'll get an accurate reading. So we're just above the first line. You want to be as close to the middle of the two as possible. So we're just gonna add a little bit more.
It's rolling.
So now we filled it up a little bit more. You can see it's closer to the top line. And when we replace the filter, we want it a little bit over half so it has just enough to fill up that filter, then still be within the line. So now we're just, like I said, starting the car up so we can get the filter to fill up. You don't want to leave it running forever when you do this, just in case it isn't where it needs to be. You don't end up blowing up your engine. Leave it running for like 15 seconds, and then you can check the oil level again. That should be plenty. Now we're just gonna check the oil level. And again, wipe it off first, and then check for a more accurate reading. Is that? Wow, it's really low. So after we turned the car on, we could see it was still really low, so we're gonna add some more. That should be plenty. It is right where we want. And as you can see, it's on the upper side of half, which is what we want. So we have the oil change done, and now we're just gonna reset the oil life in the car. So when you're resetting the oil life on a 2008 Honda Accord, first thing you want to do is get the key to the on position, but not start the car. And then you'll notice this right here pops up, and there's a button right here. You want to cycle through until it says oil life right there. This one's at 50. And you hold this button down here for 10 seconds. So now that that's flashing, take your finger back off and then hold for another approximately 5 seconds. And as you can see, it's back at 100%. We're good. Cycle back through to wherever you were, and then you're good to go for another 5,000-ish miles.